Hello, good evening, and welcome to Wapakoneta, where tonight on WOSN we've got a Western Buckeye League matchup between the visiting St. Mary's Rough Riders and the home-standing Wapak Redskins. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside Jerry Snodgrass, and we'll bring you all the action tonight. Tonight's pregame brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer. Serving Lima for over 100 years, we are proud to call this home. And Jerry, this is one of those rare Friday nights that the football game will take a back seat to two communities coming together after St. Mary's experienced a tragic loss in their community. A fifth-grade student, Jersey Poff, died earlier this week, and she was laid to rest today. And it's just one of those rare times that these two communities can come together and think about more than just football.
You know it is, and I think you hit it right. The two communities come together. This is bigger than football. Their shirts that you see tonight, let me tell you about my Jesus. And, in the back it says, live like Jersey. Live like Jersey. And I think that just speaks volumes. Look at the shirts in the crowd. We'll talk more about it, I'm sure, as the game goes on. But, again, speaks volumes of these communities.
Yeah, both sides wearing pink shirts to honor the life and memory of the young student lost from the St. Mary's community. Welcome back to Harmon Field here at Wapakoneta, where tonight we're getting set for this Western Buckeye League tilt between the St. Mary's Rough Riders and the Wapak Redskins. And Jerry, when you looked at the schedule coming into the season, if you had said that there would be one win between these two coming into week 4, you got pretty good odds on that bet, but it's been a bit of a struggle for both sides coming into week 3.
It is, and I think week 4, I know we can say this a lot of places, but week 4 can't come quick enough for both of these teams, and that's what makes tonight so interesting.
So it's time to take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer in the greater Lima area. For over 100 years, we are proud to call this home. And Jerry, when we first look at the keys to the game for the St. Mary's Rough Riders, what stands out to you that they've got to do to grab a victory tonight?
Well, I think one of the things that they have done so well through the years, they need to sustain drives. They need to keep a hold of the football. We'll talk about that on the other side, too. 2, they need to force turnovers. I think we're at a point in the season where teams are better, now 4 weeks in, than maybe the initial turnover issues at the start. There aren't as many. They need to force them. And 3, I think this is critical with all games. They need to win the special teams battle.
And when you take a look at St. Mary's, haven't forced a turnover yet this season. They're -2 in that category. When you look at Wapak, what stands out for Travis Moyer's squad that is on the checklist of things they've got to get done tonight?
Well, I think something that they've done well throughout this season, but they're getting better at every single week, is having a balanced attack. Their young quarterback, has really come on. Again, that's part of the week 4 couldn't come quick enough for them to keep this going and keep growing. Special team success, again, I think that's important all the way through. And 2 and 3, they need to get them off the field. They need to, just the opposite where St. Mary's needs to sustain drives. They need to hold them to 3 and outs.
So those are our Lima Chevrolet Cadillac keys to the game. We'll step aside, come back with first quarter action. It's St. Mary's and Wapak next on WOSN. Back at Wapak, getting set for kickoff here. Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, where homestyle happens here. Instant Replays tonight brought to you by Binkley Real Estate. Binkley Real Estate has an effective sales approach, effective marketing campaigns, an extensive network that will get you results that move you. St. Mary's will start on offense tonight, and the Rough Riders have struggled offensively so far this season. And Colton Mabry, their star running back, has all 4 of their touchdowns, and I'm sure they'd like to spread that wealth a little bit tonight here, Jerry.
They would, and I talked about sustaining drives, and I think being so critical for them. But, you look at them coming in at 0-3, which is uncharacteristic, really. But at the same time, they've played a tough schedule.
Yeah.
And we talked off camera about how good the WBL is, why it's so balanced. So, again, big game for them. They couldn't wait till week 4.
A strong Minster Bank opening kickoff by Kyle Beach will put St. Mary's at their own 20-yard line as they get set for their first offensive drive of the evening. Cody Wallace will trigger things at quarterback for the Rough Riders. 14 of 37, which St. Mary's throwing the ball 37 times through 3 weeks is probably not the statistics they'd like to see. And we mentioned Mabry, 44 carries, 264 yards, and all 4 of St. Mary's touchdowns scored through the first 3 weeks of this season. The first carry of the game, however, I believe goes to Kevin Perry. Oh, I beg your pardon, as Jacob Kessler gets the carry for St. Mary's.
Well, it's tough sometimes as we look at that blocking up front, and boy, you just have a lot of quickness on that defensive line, and that's something that really has improved, a young defensive line for Wapakoneta.
Yeah, a couple of sophomore, a junior, a couple of seniors on that defensive line, and then 3 seniors at the linebacker spots with Reese Schnarry, Joey Truesdale, and Jace Nouse starting at those linebacker spots.
Yeah, nothing better with putting senior veterans in the linebacker spot, really helping those younger 2 up front.
Dominic Osborne, the man in motion. They'll turn and pitch to Mabry. Has a couple of blockers out in front of him. A penalty flag goes down as he'll get the Frost Roofing first down. However, that penalty flag comes down in the area of holding. So you see the Binkley Real Estate replay. B&B Auto Repair first call of the quarter. Rely on Van and his team of expert technicians to provide excellent service. Call 419-738-8090 for all your repair needs. As the penalty goes against the Rough Riders, it'll make it 2nd and long.
Well, Garrett, for all the money that these officials make, and I'm just joking because they don't, I could have saved some gas mileage and ridden with them because it's a good Finley crew. Troy Newsom, actually from Clyde, is a referee. Bruce Boehm, the umpire, Jim Borgia, line judge Steve Abbott, who I had in sports at Finley High School, is the head linesman, and Ray Fleece is the back judge.
We appreciate them giving up their Friday nights to come out and make sure we got high school sports. I saw this morning that a JV game had been moved at a different time tomorrow because of a lack of officials, so it's appreciate everybody who gives up their time so these high school athletes can play. And we've got a Metzger Financial Services timeout called by the Rough Riders. Must have saw something they did not like if they're going to take a penalty, or I beg your pardon, a timeout that early here in the first quarter. So that Metzger Financial Services timeout, the first by either squad, as St. Mary's will step aside here early in the first quarter on WOSN. Tonight's first down sponsor is Frost Roofing, family owned and operated for over 95 years. Join the Frost family, an equal opportunity employer. Call 419-739-ROOF. So out of the timeout, Rough Riders split team backfield, and they'll turn around and pitch it to Mabry, running to the right. Has some blockers in front of him and is met by Metzger, and he'll ride him out of bounds, but a gain of about 7 yards there on 2nd down for the Riders.
Mabry at 210 pounds and only a junior, and we talked coming into the game, he had 44 carries, but he's a strong, hard runner and also has great speed on the perimeter.
And an 80-yard touchdown run against Salina a couple of weeks ago. Rough Riders looking to avoid their first 0-4 start since 2013, as Wallace will go under center on 3rd and somewhat long. He'll drop back to pass. Looking, he'll fire it as far as he can, looking for Kessler, and just a bit too long on the outside. We'll take a look at the Binkley Real Estate replay. Just uncorked one and just out of the grass.
Missed. He had him by a step, and that's a tough pass like that on a long route like that.
So I'll bring up 4th and 6. And Kessler, unfortunately for St. Mary's, is the punter, so he's got to come all the way back to drop back about 15 yards to drop it away, averaging 34 yards a punt. As he'll send away the Minster Bank punt, a fair catch called for at the 41-yard line by Grant Jolly.
Really good field position, leading off for Wapakoneta.
10:56 to go here in the opening quarter. Rough Riders didn't take a whole lot of time off the clock with the football. And Wapak will begin their first drive as Caleb Moyer, the 6'2" sophomore quarterback, will trigger things for the Rough Riders. He's got a bevy of weapons with him. Jace Nouse, 3 touchdowns last week in a win over over Ottawa Glandorf, I beg your pardon. And Grant Jolly already 23 receptions on the season, which is not something you've seen a whole lot out of the Redskins, but you mentioned the keys to the game, Jerry. They've been much more balanced offensively this year.
Yes, they have, and I think the growth of at the quarterback position, and that's why I talked about now to keep that going. Why they couldn't wait to get to week 4, because a big win last week. Finally, after those, I think 2 3-point losses early, and now come back. Let's get it keep it going.
Jace Now's the carry on the first play for the Redskins. Gain of 5 makes it 2nd and 5. Yes, Wapak comes into tonight 157 yards per game on the ground, 155 through the air, so a much more balanced attack with that dangerous quarterback, Caleb Moyer, in the gun with Nouse to his right. He'll send Grant Hauser, the man in motion. Moyer will keep it himself, has a little bit of room up the middle, got to the 50-yard line, just shy of the Frost Roofing first down.
Well, we're going to look at that, puts him just short, but, we'll talk about Caleb Moyer quite a bit throughout the night, only a sophomore, but, coach's son. And, I liken that in my basketball days to a coach's son, has such a cerebral approach to the game.
Yeah.
And, you think about it, whether you like it or not, you're around it all the time. You're around 24/7. So you definitely are going to be a secondary coach on the field.
Moyer completing 76% of his passes, still hasn't let one go yet, as Nouse jumps over a St. Mary's defender for the Frost Roofing first down.
Yeah, good blocking up front, but a good rush by the defensive line by St. Mary's.
And a nice job by Nouse there, not trying to hit a home run or anything. Knew exactly what he needed to do, knew exactly what he had to do to get there, and did. So the Redskins, with 10 minutes to go here on the Lee's Famous Recipe scoreboard in this first quarter. Nouse to the right of Moyer in the gun. Hauser again in motion. Moyer looking to throw for the first time tonight. Will fire. Caught by Caden Page along the near sideline, shoved out of bounds. An official will come tumbling as well. You'll see the Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay. Moyer, the easy pitch and catch, and frankly, through the air so far this season, Wapak's been quite content to just take whatever you're going to give them.
And I was just going to say, that they're not trying to get rich quick.
No.
And that they're balanced very much right now off running and passing. And, again, that's what they do, and that's what they've been doing well.
Brings up 2nd and 5. As Moyer fakes the pitch, has a lead blocker in front of him, nearly tripped up, stays on his feet past the 30, and getting very close to the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone.
I like Ryan Price out there, a 6'3" senior, 220-pounder, leading the way on Moyer's run.
Just clearing that way as Moyer faked the pitch and gave Price enough time to come around the corner and clear some space for him. 1st and 10 after the Frost Roofing first down.
I think I was so impressed with Price coming out of there at 220. He had great speed coming off
yes,
the
sir.
line.
I'll line up at that left tackle spot. For the Redskins is Moyer. Awaits Mason Ludwig to snap the football back to him. He'll turn, fire, the screen to Jolly in the open field to the 23-yard line before he's shoved out of bounds. They're right on the outskirts of that Wright State University Lake Campus red zone.
Showing just a little bit of everything on the passing, and one of these times they're going to lull them to sleep and go long. It won't be on this drive, but you'll see it coming ahead.
Make them come up and guard you close to the line of scrimmage and then try to beat you over the top. St. Mary's open to be prepared for it as Joey Truesdale comes in at tight end. The last man on the line of scrimmage on the left side of your screen. Nouse lines up to the left there. Hauser in motion, low snap. Couple of St. Mary's defenders break through the line. Moyer evades a couple inside the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone and is going to pick up the Frost Roofing first down. Just slipped that tackle. Hunter Mabry came in hot. Almost grabbed him in the backfield.
Yeah, Moyer's so shifty. I think it's just that, he doesn't look it necessarily.
Yeah, not a lot of straight line speed.
Correct. But boy, just, I think has great field vision.
So 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Ball at the 17-yard line. Moyer takes a snap, a little low, might have been looking to throw, instead just keep it himself and spun to the turf by the St. Mary's defense. We'll see who it was on a Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay.
I should know, but Moyer, I hope he's a baseball player. He's fielded that at shortstop quite a bit in the last couple of snaps.
Kevin Perry, the tackle, and I'm sure that's something Wapak will address here at the end of this drive is, hey, we got to have those snaps picked up a little bit.
What's interesting, though, is good coaching staff, they work on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's it's going to happen in a game, so you might as well prepare for it.
Moyer will pitch to Nouse. Has a blocker in front of him. Patiently tries to turn the corner inside the 5-yard line. Pick up the Frost Roofing first down. I believe he did, and it's going to be 1st and goal
You know, even though with that first down, I thought, what a great job by Carter Steinberg for St. Mary's. Really fought off that block on the perimeter and kept him from getting into the end zone.
And now had to patiently wait to try to turn that corner, and Steinberg kind of set the edge a little bit there to make him either dance just a moment or have to bounce outside. But nonetheless, it's 1st and goal. The upcoming play, the 10th of the drive already for the Redskins, as they have eaten up a nice chunk of this first quarter clock. Straight T backfield behind. They'll hand to Schnarry. Schnarry powers his way into the end zone for a side rail touchdown. Schnarry's first carry of the game goes for a touchdown to make it 6-0 from 4 yards out.
Well, that's a lot of pluses out of that offensive drive by Wapakoneta. Great complete passes, short passes, good runs.
The Varsity Lanes extra point splits the uprights by Kyle Beach and is good. And Wapak takes the early 7-0 lead with just over 7 minutes to go in quarter number 1 here on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor, Pantry Pride. Pantry Pride means best quality meats, best value for your dollar, and best service you can count on. 7-0. Wapak the lead over St. Mary's here after a 10-play, 59-yard touchdown drive, I beg your pardon. Capped off by the Schnarry touchdown, and Kyle Beach has the football teed up for the Minster Bank kickoff. Kicked it deep.
Garrett, I'm going to say this too, and I kind of overlooked it at the start, how important the kicking game is in high school. And I can tell you through 2 kickoffs, they have a kicker.
If you can make your opponent go 80 yards to score a touchdown every time, it's an overlooked weapon in high school football. It really is.
Kyle Beach at 5'8", I wonder. I remember the Lou Groza years. Like, how can a 5'8" kid kick
Where's
like
he getting
that
power from?
But they do. They just are so skilled at that.
Beach,
a lot of credit to him.
Beach also 4 for 6 on the season in the field goal game. Has a 37-yard field goal. We'll get a false start against the Rough Riders. And when you're starting at the 20-yard line, looking to go 80 yards, now looking to go 85 after the penalty.
That's something you don't want. You haven't been able to sustain a drive in the first, your first possession, and you don't want to start with your backs against the wall.
That's the situation facing St. Mary's. 1st and 15 from their own 15 after going 3 and out on the game's opening drive. Mabry and Kessler line up behind Wallace in the wing T. Osborne a man in motion. Mabry the carry, upended.
Well,
Johnny Carnes the stop.
Yeah, that's a tough interior line to go against, the defensive line.
You're looking at guys going all sorts of directions, both in the backfield and on the offensive line. If you're in the interior of that defensive line, got to work on the trap all week. When you don't get blocked, it's human nature to just keep running upfield. We'll have to go through the discipline tonight on 2nd and 12. Hand off to Dominic Osborne this time, looking to get outside, cuts it up. Gets out to the 30-yard line, still on his feet. Breaks a tackle, nearing the midfield stripe before he's finally brought down. Ryan Richardson in on the stop, but a great individual effort there by Dominic Osborne.
And great blocking out in front of this. Boy, a great job by number 7 there. Been able to, get a piece of him. Kevin Perry leading that way.
Grant Jolly in on the stop as well. That's a big first down. The Frost Roofing first down for the St. Mary's Rough Riders, and now we'll get an official stoppage. Just hard-nosed running there from Dominic Osborne. Had 17 carries entering tonight. His first one goes for a big gain for the Riders. So they're approaching the midfield stripe after the Frost Roofing first down. Wallace under center. He'll turn and pitch to Mabry. Mabry, patient, got to the midfield stripe, and that's exactly where he'll be stopped.
And that's also exactly what they're really trying to do. Pick up a 6 almost on that. Will Glass pulled on that. Right guard did a nice job leading the way on that and pulling and trapping out on the outside.
Chipping away one bite at a time here. As Keaton Fishball will line up at the tight end on the top of your screen. Now turn around and hand it off to Osborne once more. Spins out of a tackle. Grant Jolly will bring him down, but after he's picked up the Frost Roofing first down.
And I think we're really starting to see on this drive some real St. Mary's football.
Yeah, it's offensively they've struggled to run the football, and when you're St. Mary's, you can't struggle to run the football. You've got to get it figured out, and they're certainly improving here in this second drive. They'll turn and pitch to Mabry once more to the short side of the field. The Wapak defense stands tough there, however, and Jace Nouse will corral him around the ankles.
You watch those outside linebackers in particular really keying, on Mabry. And that's why I think we've seen, two other running backs pick up quite a bit on that these last several downs.
It makes sense, if Colton Mabry's been the big back out of the backfield for St. Mary's. Focus on him, but you're right that we've seen a couple of big plays as Mabry the lone back behind Wallace. He'll take the dive, and he's met in the hole, pushed straight backwards by Joey Truesdale and Jace Nouse. Both read it perfectly.
It's tough defensively. You've got the two out on the wings, and, you're always waiting for that cutback. You're always waiting for that counter, but, they're also keying on Mabry right there, too.
So 3rd and long here for St. Mary's. The first time they were faced in this situation. Chucked it deep to Jacob Kessler. We'll see what the Rough Riders put together here. Might be 4-down territory for St. Mary's. Straight T backfield this time behind Wallace. He'll hand to Kessler. Has a blocker in front of him. Spins back towards the field of play before he's shoved out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Gain of 4. We'll see on a Binkley instant replay here.
I think you're being kind when you say shoved out, boy.
Hammered to the ground. So the ball, nose of the football right at the 35-yard line. Got to get to the 31.
Big down here, big down. 4th down, keep this drive alive.
So rather than a Minster Bank punt, St. Mary's going to go for it on 4th and somewhat short. 3:30 to go on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Wallace under center, and the Rough Rider will take a timeout. Second Metzger Financial Services timeout taken by St. Mary's here in this first quarter. 3:23 to go here in the first quarter.
I think with that offensive lineup the way they lined up, really wanted to see what Wapak was doing in the defensive setup against it.
We'll step aside, come back with this pivotal 4th down when we return on WOSN. Tonight's presenting sponsor is the People's Bank. We're invested in the communities we serve. Your bank, your way. 4th down for the Rough Riders. Got to get to the 31-yard line. Wing T.
They're going to try to draw him, I think. Nope.
He'll turn and pitch to Mabry. Gets the first down and more. Spins down at the 25-yard line. Just power football by the Rough Riders when they needed it most, and they'll pick up the Frost Roofing first down.
Well, not only the long drive, but once again, it is, keeping, sustaining a drive and keeping the ball in their hands, shortening the game a little bit.
These two teams play short, low-scoring games. Every game between St. Mary's and Wapak since 2017 has been a one-score game. 3 of them have gone to overtime. The handoff to Mabry once more, patiently finding his way to the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone. He's pulled down by Jaden Rampula.
You really see that offensive line gaining some real, not just momentum, but confidence in there, that they're starting to push people back a lot more, firing off the line.
And that Wapak defense is one of the better ones in the Western Buckeye League. So if St. Mary's builds that confidence against the Wapak defense, it only is going to help going forward. As they'll turn and pitch to Mabry once more. Cuts it up to the 15-yard line.
Another
very close to it. Yep, got the Frost Roofing first down. Get a great look at it at the Binkley Real Estate instant replay.
Garrett, since my early days of coaching in the WBL at Defiance, when years ago, but St. Mary's is so dominant then, but I always had so much respect for how they've instilled so much confidence to be an offensive lineman. You know what I mean? It's not just another position. It's the key.
Mabry powers ahead, and it's not just the guys who reluctantly find out that they're not fast enough to be a running back.
Right.
Or
I want to be a lineman,
I want to shove some guys around. And when you're running the football, it's a lot more. You're going forward. You're moving guys. When you're pass blocking, you're protecting guys. But, football is one of those sports where it's okay to be aggressive. It's okay to be physical. And when you get that built into you with your big guys up front, good things happen as Wallace will go under center after they hand off to Mabry, who's been just a dog on this drive as he'll take another one. It's going to be very close to another Frost Roofing first down.
Well, I used to tell players when I was at Defiance, I started coaching freshman football there, and I remember, we always heard, I don't know if they did or not, but they put their best athletes at the two guard.
Right, at left and right guard.
Yep, that could pull. And I remember, gosh, we called him Curly. His last name was Culp, ninth grader years ago. And convinced him he was the best athlete on the team. And
needed to play left
guard. He was a great guard for us, yep.
Inside the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone. 3rd and 3 for the Riders. They'll hand off to Perry, but he is swallowed up. Caden Ware immediately there to spin him backwards, and that's a big play for that Wapak D. So 4th and about 3 for St. Mary's. 9 consecutive runs on the drive. 10 consecutive runs, I beg your pardon. 11th play of the drive upcoming. Here as the clock continues to tick as we near the end of the first quarter on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
And you're right. That was a great defensive push by the Wapakoneta line.
Less than 5 seconds on the play clock. Osborne, the man in motion. They'll turn, pitch to Mabry. Patiently meanders through the Wapak defense, and he's got the Frost Roofing first down. So the ball spotted at the 6-yard line. I guess you're right. They didn't get there. Did not get there. Needed to get to the 5. Got pulled down at the 6. So just 1 yard shy, and it's a turnover on downs. The Wapak D hangs tough.
I think Coach Fry wanted a measurement on that. I don't think he had quite the view that the official did on the field, but.
So St. Mary's goes 11 plays, started at their own 20. Got a penalty to push them back to the 15. They work it all the way down to the 6-yard line. And the upcoming play, conceivably the final play of the first quarter.
And that's tough. You sustain a drive for that long. You really do well and come up with no points. And as you said, low-scoring game every year, close game every year.
Yeah.
That can be so critical.
Right, every point matters. 5 seconds remain here in the first quarter. The Redskins in the shadow of their own goalposts. Nouse joined in the backfield by Schnarry. Or I beg your pardon, Moyer joined in the backfield by Schnarry and Nouse. And we get a false start penalty. It's going to push the Redskins back even more. It's the last call of the quarter. The Redskins hope. So 4 seconds on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
This is one of those on this possession. If you're St. Mary's, you're really looking at holding the Redskins in deep, trying to get the ball back in pretty good field position.
They'll turn around and hand it to Nouse. Nouse cuts it back up to the 11-yard line, where he's brought down to end the first quarter of play. Wapak's football when we return with second quarter action coming up here on WOSN. Tonight's instant replay sponsor is Binkley Real Estate, where they have an effective sales approach, effective marketing campaigns, and an extensive network that will get you results that move you. Wapak gets the ball at the 11-yard line on the final play of the first quarter, the first play of their drive.
Garrett, so often as we look here, as we're getting ready for the second quarter, and you look at all the pink in the stands that we talked about before, students sometimes get a bad rap. Look at both student sections, and you'll see nothing but pink in both of them. And that's an amazing thing. Don't ever sell our students short.
Proud to support both of their communities uniting to support one another.
Pretty impressive.
Right. Moyer in a gun. Now's to his right. Keep it himself. Has some room to run. Tries to turn the corner. Does. Moyer out to the 33-yard line before he's finally brought down by Carter Steinberg, but a big carry by the sophomore QB.
That was a big chip block on the outside by Caden Page, too, 6'1 junior. Did a nice job of just holding up the cornerback just enough to free up Moyer.
That's another
10, 12 yards.
Another Frost Roofing first down for the Redskins as they get out from a tough field position situation. As Naus will join Moyer in the backfield once more. Hauser lined up as the wing. Naus the carry. Gets a great block from a pulling guard. Very close to another Frost Roofing first down out to the 40-yard line. You'll see it on the Binkley instant replay there. Number 67, Landon Micko, turns the corner and opens up a hole.
He did. He just hit him square on and, held him, and I don't mean illegally held him, but just held him up and really opened things up.
Redskins will go back under center this time with a split T backfield behind the 6'2 sophomore signal caller. Hands off to Naus. Some room to run. Tries to stiff arm. Shoved out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Looks like Jacob Kessler, the tackle.
Just talking about that great block on the other side. And that time Caden Ware came out again on the east side and, runner decided to go to the outside, but boy, had a great block.
Didn't need a lot of yardage for the Frost Roofing first down, but got it. Moves the chains. The next Frost Roofing first down requires the Redskins to get into St. Mary's territory. Two wide receivers split out to the right of Caleb Moyer in the gun. And he'll look to throw. Has time. Slings to Naus. Plenty of room to rumble. Frost Roofing first down and more. Naus inside the 30-yard line. Brought down at the 29. A big rumble by the running back.
Yeah, look at Moyer step into this pocket just a little bit to step up. And
all sorts of room to run for the running back.
Wide open out on the perimeter.
Nose of the football to 28-yard line. Wapak, sixth play of the drive, I beg your pardon. Upcoming after going on a 10-play drive in their first touchdown scoring drive. Quite the interesting formation there as Austin Brown lines up as the wing. The big fella clearing the way as Caleb Moyer gets down inside the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone. Look at number 69 just shoving his way through that St. Mary's defense.
And even there at the end, Caden Page again with just good, pressure on that outside, maintaining contact and got him an extra 2-3 yards.
So the Redskins inside the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone. As Moyer surveys the St. Mary's defense, awaiting the snap from Mason Ludwig. Hands off to Naus. Naus cuts it up, reverses field inside the 10-yard line, put the ball on the floor. It's pounced on by Wapak. As Mason Ludwig, the center, snaps the football and ends up with the football at the end of the play.
I thought he was down. I thought
I thought so, maybe
it.
too, but maybe on that Binkley real estate instant replay you see, maybe still up. Nonetheless, it remains with the Redskins after they avert disaster deep in St. Mary's territory.
But pickup of 8.
So 2nd and 3.
Yeah, pick up 7, I guess. Still, I guess he would have had 8 if he hadn't fumbled.
Well, it's pretty close there as Moyer in the gun. Pitches to Naus. Has a blocker in front of him. Breaks one tackle at the 5 and gets into the end zone. The side rail touchdown for Jace Naus from 10 yards out. Got the pitch. Patiently meandered through that St. Mary's D. Breaks a pair of tackles on his way to the pylon. And Jace Naus' 4th side rail touchdown of the season makes it 13-0 Redskins, I beg your pardon.
I keep mentioning Caden Page's name, but even there on his blocking, it didn't look like it was going to be that effective. But what he really did is shove his defender right into 2 others to prevent the tackle and let him free up and go on the outside.
The Varsity Lanes extra point up and good for Kyle Beach. Makes it 14-0 Wapak with 9:15 to go in the second quarter here on WOSN. Tonight's Red Zone sponsor, Wright State University Lake Campus. Whether you're interested in an associate's or bachelor's degree, Wright State University Lake Campus offers something for you. Visit lake.wright.edu to apply today. Kyle Beach ready to send it away. His first 2 Minster Bank kickoffs have gone deep into the end zone, just like that one will. And another Minster Bank kickoff leads to a touchback. And St. Mary's will get the football for the 3rd time tonight with 9:15 to go here in the 2nd quarter, again at their own 20-yard line.
You know, it's early in the game, of course, still, but boy, some drives are just really, really hurtful when you had them pinned back on about the 2.5 or 3-yard line, and, they just go the length of the field, and 2 sustained drives now by Wapakoneta.
Yeah, Wapak's starting field position, their own 41. That one started at their own 6, got half the distance to the goal, and goes a 7-play touchdown drive as the handoff to Dominic Osborne gets out to the 29-yard line. They're on 1st down.
Well, and especially when you look at that last drive by the Rough Riders, it was stopped, deep in Wapak territory, and Wapak turns around and turns that into a drive of their own.
Well, we talked about St. Mary's needing to sustain drives. They sustained a drive, just couldn't finish off that drive, and we talked about, the low-scoring nature of these contests. You got to get those points when presented the opportunities as the split T backfield gives to Mabry. He's upended, but it's enough for a Frost Roofing 1st down.
And the good news for the Rough Riders, they're coming right back out, going hard, getting 1st downs right away, and, again, hopefully that they can sustain a drive.
So they'll move the chains once more. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line, or 32-yard line. As the Rough Riders try to close the gap, trailing 14-0 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Mabry, Osborne in the backfield. They'll run to counter. Kessler gets the handoff, but he is punished. As Grant Jolly in on the stop, as was Bryson Pack.
You give both those guys a lot of credit for staying home.
Yes, sir.
That's so tough to do when you're playing against that counter like that.
Just see a bunch of guys going one way, and then somebody's coming with the football back the other way.
And I didn't see a single player leaning that way, from the weak side, from this back side.
So a gain of about half a yard brings up 2nd and 9 as Wallace has a wide split behind him with Perry and Mabry. Mabry, the handoff, tries to turn the corner. Didn't get there. Jarrett Mullins, the tackle, got to the 35-yard line, so just a gain of about 2. Tonight's first call of the quarter brought to you by B&B Auto Repair. Rely on Van and his team of expert technicians to provide excellent service. Call 419-738-8090 for your auto repair needs. First 3rd down call here coming up for the Rough Riders, and we talked about those sustaining drives. You're going to have to pick up some yards here, trailing by 14.
This is a big 3rd down, I think.
Wallace, the play-action pass. Blitzed and dropped to the turf. Jaden Rampula off the edge. Had 2 sacks coming into tonight and 5 tackles for loss. He can add to that tally here.
Well, he has so much speed on that outside coming in, that outside linebacker spot.
Not a ton of size from Jaden Rampula, a 5'10", 205-pound senior, but you see him fight off that block. Got to the quarterback for his 3rd sack of the season, and Jacob Kessler will come on to boot it away for the Minster Bank punt. Kessler awaits the snap. As a high end-over-end kick, not very deep, takes a great St. Mary's bounce, and will go out of bounds at the 34-yard line. And that is where Wapak will take over. Kessler averaging 34 yards a punt. Adding to that there, the ball at the Redskin 35. Second punt of the night for Kessler. As Wapak goes back to work. Touchdowns on their first 2 drives. One of 10 plays, one of 7 plays. Both sustained drives. 159 yards, 194 yards as Moyer. Low snap, hands off to Nouse. He'll power his way out to the 37-yard line.
The tough part about that low snap, because we've seen a lot of them, and I'm not knocking anybody for that because that's a tough job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it throws your timing off a little bit. Sometimes, just really negates what could be a pretty big gain.
So a gain of just 2. 5:42 to go. St. Mary's, unfortunately, with just the one timeout, as you'd like to get the football back with as much time as possible. Wapak will start the second half with the football as the Redskins will take the Metzger Financial Services timeout. They lead 14-0 here in the second quarter on WOSN. Tonight's Extra Point sponsor, Varsity Lanes. Varsity Lanes Bowling Center in St. Mary's brings families and friends together with bowling, fun, and great food for everyone. Kyle Beach 2 for 2 on Varsity Lanes Extra Points tonight. I'm sure he'd love to take a crack at it one more time here in the first half, as Moyer will be alone in the gun this time. He'll send Grant Jolly in motion. He'll take the handoff. Jolly looking to throw. Going deep. There's a penalty flag down. It's going to be pass interference as several penalty flags come to the floor as Caden Page looked to slip past the defender.
You could see something, coming after that timeout, but I didn't expect that. But I think it might have been holding along the way. We'll see.
Nonetheless, Caden Page couldn't get going as that's the first call of the quarter.
Right.
Brought to you by B&B Auto Repair. And Jolly last year battled with Moyer for the starting quarterback job. And the coach's son, as obviously has worked out for Wapak, won the battle. But Jolly, good baseball pitcher as well. And uncorked one there, and Caden Page just never really had the opportunity. So there was both holding and pass interference on the play. So compared to the alternative for St. Mary's,
say it's not a bad penalty.
You know what? The 15 yards might not be all that bad compared to what could have been as Grant Jolly uncorked one.
Well, you talk about Jolly fighting for that position last year, moving out to the receiver spot. Sometimes you can't get it any better than that. You've got a great athlete in both spots.
Well, and Jolly last year led Wapak in receiving. I think had 27 receptions, had 23 coming into tonight. So you see that passing game really evolving as Moyer keeps it himself out to the 44-yard line. Just patiently finding space inside that St. Mary's defense.
Garrett, it's not story time, but when you get into that, I always go back to my athletic director and coaching days at Findlay when, Ben Roethlisberger, where everybody talks about, he played wide receiver. Yeah, we had a good quarterback, and he was also all-state wide receiver too. Ben was.
Now it's out to the 40, to the 38-yard line, between the 38 and 37, and a similar situation there with sitting behind the coach's son.
Yep.
He's going to generally have the leg up, but also gets a little extra scrutiny that Grant Jolly might not get. But Travis Moyer's not sitting in Grant Jolly's living room watching TV every night of the week either.
But, I know Coach Moyer well enough, and I know him from his old days at Winford High School, but, he also developed such a team commitment.
Absolutely.
They'll do anything to win games. They'll sacrifice anything they need to do.
After the Frost Roofing first down, Moyer, trouble with his snap again, another low one. Tried to break out of the tackle, but Noah Dixon wasn't going to let go. See Dixon come off the edge there as Moyer just trying to do what he could with the low snap. As the clock continues to tick here in this first half as we approach 4 minutes to go on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, though. Mason Ludwig is the center, and, I know we talk about low snaps, but he's got his hands full, and he's done a great job blocking up front. And that's a tough challenge, I will tell you. And he's only a sophomore, and he's going to do nothing but continue to get better.
Jolly, the man in motion. Moyer looking that way. Will hold. Has to just let it fly out of bounds and live to fight another day.
In fact, I was watching Ludwig on that pass protection and did a great job.
Looked like Moyer might have had Jolly right pretty early on that route as he went in motion and then went to the flats and turned it into the wheel route, but Moyer pressured by the time he could uncork one, and the two slap hands there is a bit of an understanding of like, hey, believe me, if I could have got it to you, I would have.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 11 upcoming here for the Redskins. It's a big stand needed for St. Mary's, trailing by 2 touchdowns here in this first half. Moyer, time, pressured, lets it fly. Jolly somehow caught that football. The 6-foot junior climbed the ladder as Moyer was pressured by Logan Compton, took a shot.
You know what's so key about that, though? He actually puts him in a good position in a 4th down, a better position.
Yeah.
So
it's fourth
now it's very reachable.
4th and 4, maybe 4th and 4.5. So they need to get that Frost Roofing first down.
So if they get a first down on this, and if they eventually score, that becomes a very key play of this drive.
Absolutely. Instead of 4th and 11, you're 4th and 4, as Moyer will be alone in the gun. Looks like a miscommunication and a timeout needed by the Redskins. So the Metzger Financial Services timeout taken with 2:46 to go here in his second quarter. It's 4th and 4 for the Redskins when we return here on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor, Pantry Pride. Pantry Pride means best quality meats, best value for your dollar, and best service you can count on. 4th and 4 upcoming here for the Wapak Redskins, and out of the last timeout, Grant Jolly uncorked one. Any trickeration expected here, Jerry?
That's what I was just wondering. I don't think they will this time. I think they're going to run something that is they're very, very comfortable with. I don't think they'll try to do that old trickery on this one.
2:46 to go in the first half. Redskins lead 14-0. Moyer now to his left in the gun on 4th and 4. Jolly running towards the middle of the field. Moyer pressured, throwing, and it's out of bounds. Rolling to his left. Had to square those shoulders, looking for Caden Page. It's incomplete. And a turnover on downs with 2:39 to go here in the first half.
That's a huge stop for the Rough Riders. You could see them coming off the field, and defensive coaches were just high-fiving everybody, and they should be. That was a great stop by them, and they needed that for a momentum builder.
Yeah, just getting off the field and not having Wapak sustain another drive. So with the ball at their own 32-yard line, the Rough Riders will go to work. This is their best starting field position of the night. Kessler, Mabry in the backfield. Kessler the handoff. They'll reverse to Dominic Osborne. Wallace the lead blocker, but Bryson Pack swallows him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, once again, you talk about staying home. Right there he is. Right there he is.
Chased it the whole way, knew exactly what was going on. The Rough Riders trying to pick up some yardage there on the reverse. Are stuck right where they started at the 32. Mabry, the only running back behind Wallace. He'll get the handoff. Breaks through one attempted tackle. Very close to a Frost Roofing first down after the tackle by Schnorri.
Boy, Mabry's such a hard runner.
Runs right through the back of his own offensive lineman. Schnorri and Pack bring him down. That's a Frost Roofing first down. Oh, no, they'll 3rd and less than half a yard or so. I don't know that that down marker and the stick could be closer to one another.
Well, I don't know if they're gaining a yard or losing a yard on this because the chains moved.
So 3rd and about 2. Mabry, the handoff. Truesdale is there for Wapak. As was Schnorri off that defensive end spot, but it is a Frost Roofing first down. So the ball at the 42-yard line. 90 seconds to go here in this first half.
Score on this drive would be huge for the Rough Riders.
Wallace will look to throw. And he's pressured by Rampula, and he's got his second sack of the night. You'll see it on the Binkley instant replay. Just beat his offensive lineman off the edge. And Rampula causing havoc in that St. Mary's passing game.
Well, you talked earlier about him not being huge. Well, that speed is really showing
yes, sir.
How valuable that is at that outside linebacker spot, or that defensive end spot.
Came in with 2 sacks on the season. Has 2 sacks here in the first half. Wallace, they'll try another reverse. This time, a little bit of room to run. Jarrett Mullen, the tackle, after they get the ball to Trey Moore. I beg your pardon, Noah Dixon gets the pitch there on the reverse. The second reverse of the series for the Rough Riders. Got it back very close to the original line of scrimmage with under 30 seconds to go in a half.
I'm sure it was drilled in them all week long about, counters and always, reverses. But, boy, the discipline, the self-discipline of the Redskins is great.
Mabry will just take the dive up the middle. Brought down by Truesdale and another Redskin. I believe it's Caden Ware, and that might do it for the first half. Looks like it will. So we will go to the Owls Woodies halftime adjustment halftime show coming up. Wapak with a 14-0 lead at the halftime break over St. Mary's. Second half adjustment coming up here on WOSN. Tonight's halftime adjustment brought to you by Owls Woodies Diner. Owls Woodies Diner in Wapak is Wapak's best place for pizza, wings, subs, and burgers. Call 419-738-9111. Jerry, when you take a look at this halftime adjustment, Wapak leads St. Mary's 14-0. And first for the Redskins, things went pretty well offensively there for them in that first half.
Yeah, and I don't think they need to do anything fancy. I think they, we saw the penalty on the one long pass, but I think if they just run their offense, they've shown that they can sustain the drives. It'll work quite well for them.
Yeah, Wapak with drives of 10 plays, 7 plays, and 6 plays, 2 of them ending in touchdowns, 1 a turnover and downs, somewhat deep in St. Mary's territory. On the flip side for the Rough Riders, they sustained their second drive of the game but couldn't turn it into points. And then we talked about it, the Minster Bank kickoffs from Kyle Beach have just put St. Mary's behind the 8 ball time and time again in a field position battle.
And that's why time is such an important factor in a game like this. They're not a get-rich-quick type team. But I also think if you look at that first half, their counters and reverses really didn't go very well.
No.
But what did go well is great up-front blocking. And I'm not saying just straight ahead, but, good old smash-mouth football that they're so known for. And their line has shown they can do very well.
Yeah, they've moved Wapak at times when they've needed to. So what's the message from Beau Fry to his St. Mary's Rough Rider squad here at the break?
Yeah, I think maintain your blocks. Just keep on your blocks. You've shown you can do it. Let's just maintain it, stay on our guys, and we'll grind it out. And by virtue of that, we'll keep them at 14 points.
So that is our halftime adjustment brought to you by Owls Woodies Diner. Owls Woodies Diner in Wapak is the best place for pizza, wings, subs, and burgers. Call 419-738-9111. Wapak leads St. Mary's 14-0 here at the halftime break. We'll step aside and come back with third quarter action here in the Western Buckeye League. Game of the week here on WOSN. Tonight's presenting sponsor, the People's Bank. We are invested in the communities we serve. Your bank, your way. The Wapakoneta robotics team has created a T-shirt launcher that has some strength on it. Jerry, it hit the press box down from on the track. You can see it at the bottom left corner of your screen there. That a T-shirt, didn't expect to see a T-shirt come flying right up in my window, but that shows the power of the robotics team here at Wapak.
Trust me, they've all got jobs very soon.
And they'll be doing all right.
That's all right.
They will be doing all right. The Redskins doing all right in the first half on the offensive side of the ball. They lead St. Mary's 14-0 here in this Western Buckeye League matchup. St. Mary's comes into tonight's game 0-3 on the season, looking to avoid their first 0-4 start since the 2013 season. Meanwhile, Wapak trying to get back to 2-2. They've won 2 in a row against St. Mary's here in this series. Wapak got the scoring started. A 4-yard touchdown run by Reese Schnarry, still his only carry of the game. That is nice efficiency by Reese Schnarry as he's got the 4-yard touchdown run. And then Jace Nouse at the 9:15 mark of quarter number 2 had a 10-yard touchdown run to make it 14-0. St. Mary's took the football to start the first half, so Wapak will receive the opening kickoff here in the second half. And really, things went pretty well offensively. Wapak very efficient and pretty balanced in both phases of the offense.
Yeah, no, and it's so hard to say this when it's only 14-0. It's 2 scores, but I think this first possession of the second half is key to the outcome of this game.
No, absolutely. St. Mary's did force a stop on the last Wapak drive. The Redskins had 6 plays that started at their own 35-yard line before St. Mary's was able to get them off the field. But the Redskins will start this third quarter with the football as the Minster Bank opening kickoff of the second half about to get underway as Landon Rush will kick things away for the St. Mary's Roughriders.
Well, and if you remember, too, Gary, that was such a big stop on that last drive of Wapakoneta because they came off that field all fired up, a great defensive stop, and hopefully they can carry that over into the second half here.
Looks like the Redskins might be prepared for an onside kick. St. Mary's did get an onside kick against Salina, but they said it was touched at the 9.5-yard mark instead of the 10. And he will onside kick it. We got a scrum right at the 50-yard line. See who gets it. Redskins say they have it. And that's the way the officials point.
Yeah, bold move.
Just a little dribbler. It did go 10 yards, and St. Mary's had a heck of a look at it.
I will tell you, that was a great onside kick.
Of course, Wapak didn't get an onside kick earlier this season against Marion Local. It was a perfect bounce that led to the Flyers' comeback in a season-opening victory. But the Redskins pounce on that one. They are prepared for it to begin the second half as Truesdale and Hauser come towards the bottom of your screen. And the split T backfield behind Moyer. Now's the handoff. Nearly brought down from behind. Cuts up into St. Mary's territory on the gain of about 4 yards.
Yes, turned nothing into a 4-yard gain. He was stopped behind the line.
First play of the drive goes for 4 yards after the onside kick. So Wapak starting with their best field position of the night with the ball right at the 50-yard line and gain 4 there.
What a cool night for football.
Yes.
We've had all these warm, hot nights that have physically been challenging, but all of a sudden we have a good, cool night.
Yeah, don't have to worry about cramping up tonight as the false start is the first call of the quarter. Brought to you by B&B Auto Repair. Rely on Van and his team of expert technicians to provide excellent service. Call 419-738-8090 for your auto repair needs.
Or, as we say in Ohio so often, it's football weather.
It is. It's one of the I got to the top of the bleachers tonight and was just about to break a sweat, and I might need a jacket on the way out of here. It'd be a little chilly. With that football weather as a wing and 2 wide receivers go to the top of your screen as Moyer fakes the pitch, has a couple of blockers. Moyer had some room and tripped up. He slaps the turf in frustration because you'll see on the Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay had all sorts of room.
Oh, a lot of running room. Yes, he did.
And he knows it. So Logan Compton gets the shoestring tackle, and that'll bring up 3rd and about 7 here for the Redskins.
Garrett, you talked about making it to the top of the bleachers here. A tall set of bleachers.
Yes, sir.
But what a beautiful stadium and the work that they have done here. What community pride.
I tell you, people who have schools that have great facilities, it's difficult. So it shows the commitment that you have, and Wapak is certainly committed to their facilities as Jolly gets the catch, tries to stretch it for the Frost Roofing first down and does. Luke Bourne's the tackle, but not before Wapak moves the sticks.
That's just extra effort that time. He's tackled about 2-3 yards short, or he's grabbed 2-3 yards short, turns it into a first down. A good second effort.
So the Frost Roofing first down. The nose of the football right at the 40-yard line. That's how far the Redskins had to get. Joey Truesdale and Reese Schnarry will come in the game, so look for that wing T formation. Page, the wide receiver, at the top of the screen. Schnarry, the handoff, but he's met immediately. Logan Compton standing in the hole waiting for Schnarry.
Wow, St. Mary's stacked the line. Look at the look at the number on the line of scrimmage. That was bound to be stopped.
Just slipped a blocker and was immediately prepared. You saw it on the Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay. Never blocked.
I don't know if the headset waves made it into the opposing headsets or what, but offensive made it into the defensive. But the line was just stacked.
Moyer back in a gun now with Nouse to his right. He'll take the handoff, but Dixon comes off the edge, and that St. Mary's defense stands tall once again as Compton, therefore another stop.
Yes, they're coming off that ball hard, beating blocks right now.
just a little bit disjointed. We talked about the timing of those low snaps, and you might see it on display right there. That Nouse wasn't able to get the handoff in the rhythm that he wanted.
Well, 3rd and 10. This puts a lot of pressure on the defensive backs. St. Mary's.
8:30 to go here in this third quarter on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Page and Jolly to the right of Moyer in the gun. He'll fake the pitch and is spun down for a gain of about half a yard. Caleb Turner just nowhere to run for Moyer.
Boy, big series for St. Mary's.
Taylor Compton it on the stop for St. Mary's as well. And that'll force the first punt of the evening for the Redskins as Kyle Beach comes on for the Minster Bank punt. Just one returner deep, no addiction back deep for St. Mary's, and we'll get a timeout. This one called by the Rough Riders with 7:45 to go. So after the Metzger Financial Services timeout, it's 14-0 Wapak. They'll punt it away to St. Mary's when we return here on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor, Pantry Pride, means best quality meats, best value for your dollar, and best service you can count on. Punt nearly blocked as Kyle Beach gets it away, and it nearly dies, but the Minster Bank punt, like every other kick from Kyle Beach tonight, ends up in the end zone for the touchback.
Well, you know, I don't know if St. Mary's, if the Rough Riders saw something in the way the Redskins were lined up and thought maybe they could get a piece of that, but they sure came after that. Like they definitely took the timeout for a reason, like let's go for the block.
Yeah, nearly got it. 7:39 to go here in the third quarter. Rough Riders get off the field for the second consecutive stop, and we'll see what they put together here offensively. Got the ball with just a few moments left in the second quarter and weren't able to really put anything together. As Cody Wallace goes back under center, he'll send Colton Mabry in motion. Hands off, and he'll shove backwards. Still running, churning the legs, is the St. Mary's running back. Number 38 is Caleb Schmidt. Schmidt, a sophomore, gets his first carry of the game.
You know, I'm so impressed with Grant Jolly, you know, all over the field. You know, stayed at home on that, made a tackle.
Gain of 2 on first down. Straight T power backfield behind Wallace. He'll hand off to Dominic Osborne. Truesdale steps in the hole. Penalty flag thrown on the far sideline. As Osborne gains maybe a yard and a half, but we got a penalty flag against the Rough Riders.
You know, I said going into halftime, I thought maybe that's what they would stick with, their bread and butter. But, boy, the Redskins are just, you know, right now just doing a great job defensively up front.
Yeah, and Wapak flowing to the football, and St. Mary's trying to counter that with 2 reverses the last possession, and the Redskins were still at home. So, the ball to 22-yard line. 6:50 to go here in the third quarter. Makes it 2nd and long for St. Mary's. Osborne, Mabry in the backfield. I beg your pardon, Mabry as the wing. He's the intended receiver. And the ball thrown high. Nate Metzger in on the coverage for Wapak. Where St. Mary's trying to catch Wapak off guard by throwing it on 2nd and long.
You know, not an overly, don't throw the ball a lot, put it that way,
Yeah.
You know, averaging just a few a game. But, you know, still nonetheless, you know, with that 2nd and very long, it was a good opportunity to try to get something.
Now, coming into the game, Cody Wallace had thrown the ball 37 times. I think 19 of them were against St. Henry in the season opener. And if St. Mary's is throwing the ball 19 times a game, I think you know things are not going well for the Riders. They'll line up in a Wildcat here, as they'll snap it to Trey Moore. Moore looking for a little bit of room to run. Has some room. Has the Frost Roofing first down and more. Out to the 45-yard line. Brought down by Schnarry. But Trey Moore, the freshman, showing a little bit of speed on the edge.
Wow, great running that time. What a good cut there right at the end. Pick up another 6 yards.
Just a young pup, but picking up the Frost Roofing first down. Showing a little spark for that St. Mary's, though.
Great call by Coach Fry and his staff.
So the ball out to the 45-yard line now. Yes. St. Mary's going to line up in the shotgun. Basically, pigs have flown here in Wapak as Mabry the handoff. Maybe something they've toyed with this week, but Caden Ware, not fooled, swallows him whole.
He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage on that. Again, just a lot of hard running by him.
Now, Colton Mabry not going to be stopped for a loss all that often. As Moore will come back in at quarterback. Didn't have a play, doesn't look like. So we might have 10 seconds to go before the play clock expires, and they're going to have to use a timeout here.
Maybe.
Got to move quick. One. And they
didn't get it off.
They did not get it off. Timeout taken by St. Mary's. The Metzger Financial Services timeout, the second called by the Rough Riders here in the third quarter. And you get a freshman quarterback who got out to the huddle and then said, well, I don't have a play, so we'll step aside. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Rough Riders under return here in this third quarter on WOSN. 14-0 here in Wapak. Tonight's premier sponsor, Pantry Pride. Pantry Pride means best quality meats, best value for your dollar, and best service you can count on. 2nd and 10. St. Mary's found a spark offensively with the ball at the 45-yard line. Freshman Trey Moore lining up in the shotgun. Moore, a 5'7", 140-pound freshman. As Cody Wallace will now come back out to lead the Rough Rider offense. Last time he took a snap was from the shotgun. Still sort of a wing T formation at that play. But he'll go under center with Perry and Mabry behind him. Tosses to Mabry, running left. Has some blockers in front of him. Frost Roofing first down and more. Brought down at the 40-yard line. Past the midfield stripe. A big chunk play there for Colton Mabry.
And they had the perfect call for that defensive alignment.
Wapak a man short on that far sideline, so a Frost Roofing first down for the Riders. 1st and 10. Split team backfield with Perry and Mabry once more. Mabry up the gut, bounces it to the outside of the 35, 36, a gain of 4.
And again, see him bouncing it out to that left side. Just runs right over.
Nate Metzger, the tackle for Wapak. 2nd and 6. 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter on that Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Osborne and Mabry this time. Osborne to carry. He shoves straight backwards. Caden Ware from the defensive end spot. Pushed straight backwards by Joey Truesdale as well. Gain of half a yard or so.
They've really struggled, going against that front four, especially, sophomore and a junior anchoring or in that interior line for Wapakoneta. Buell and Martin doing a great job of plugging things up.
Power T behind Wallace. Osborne to carry. Tried to split through the blocks, couldn't. Caden Ware, the big stop short of the sticks, brings up 4th and short.
And it looks like he had it. Looks like he had it cleared, and boy, that was just filled real quick.
Caden Ware breaks the tackle, spins him backwards. So 4th and 2, looking for that Frost Roofing first down. Big play here for St. Mary's, looking to claw back in this one, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Wallace will bark out the signals to the Rider offense.
I'd be surprised if they do anything fancy.
Mabry straight behind Wallace. Trying to bark him off sides. No, gives to Mabry. He's got the first down and more. Brought down by Nate Metzger, but on the outskirts of the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone.
Boy, that was just good hard running and good hard blocking.
It's a Frost Roofing first down for St. Mary's as they keep the drive alive.
Good kick-out block on that left side defensive end.
Mabry to the left, or right. Perry to the left. Perry, the handoff in the open field. And great open field tackling made by Jace Nouse. Wrapped him up, brought him to the turf. Gain of 1. Puts him still. Knocking at the door of that Wright State University Lake Campus red zone.
That was just good form tackling by Jace Nowes. Stayed right there and put the shoulder into him and put him right down.
Under 3 minutes to go in the third. Wallace back under center with two receivers to his left. Mabry the handoff. Punches it into the red zone. That's the 10th play of the drive. Just goes off tackle.
Well, certainly 4-down territory for them, and you can kind of see, I wouldn't be surprised they go around that left end again.
Inside to right, State University Lake Campus red zone. At the 19-yard line on third and somewhat long here, and it's a long 7. As the clock continues to tick here in this third quarter, St. Mary's trailing Wapak 14-0. Wallace under center, Mabry, Osborne behind him. Perry, the wing on the left side. Play action pass. Wallace scrambling, able to avoid one tackler. Rampula shoves him out of bounds.
About 2 yards short, I think, but they're in 4-down territory, so.
One of the rare times that Wallace has dropped back and hasn't been dropped by Rampula. Still got him out of bounds. But you're right, Jerry, just shy of that Frost Roofing first down. So the Riders will go for it on 4th down one more time. Ball at the 15-yard line. Got to get to the 13. Gone back to Mabry several times in this situation. Mabry lined up directly behind Wallace. He'll get the pitch. Looks for room. Has the first down and more inside the 10-yard line before he's ushered out of bounds by Grant Jolly. But we'll see on the Binkley Real Estate instant replay. Had some good outside blocking and picked up the Frost Roofing first down. It makes it first and goal for about as far as a goal situation as you can get, right at the 10-yard line.
And from my angle, it looks like it's 1st and 10.5, but not possible.
Rough Riders started this drive with 7:39 to go here in the third quarter. The 13th play of the drive upcoming. Wide split behind Wallace. Osborne brought down from behind by Rampula.
There's so much speed on that defensive line that any pulling, boy, they just.
Yeah, you're going to that left side. You say, we don't have to block this backside end.
Yeah, they're just right through there. But they're reading that. They're reading that pull, and they know if he's pulling that way, that's their read. The guard is the read for them, and out they go.
Under 90 seconds to go here in this third quarter. Rough Riders deep into the Wright State University Lake Campus red zone, trailing 14-0. Straight T backfield behind Wallace. Osborne, the dive, powers up to the 6-yard line. Caden Ware wrapped him up. Looked like St. Mary's Wapak was slanting that defensive line towards the strength of the formation. We'll see if St. Mary's maybe considers countering that. Just when they found out which side of the tight end and wing were, they just bumped down a gap. Under a minute to go here in the third. Ball to 6-yard line on 3rd and goal. Wallace, hand off to Osborne. Osborne,
wow,
brought down at the 4 as Caden Ware is there again. Got some ancillary help from Reese Schnarry, but you see number 64 breaks that tackle, breaks that block, and Schnarry, Chris Martin in on the stop as well. The Redskins flying to the football. And with 20 seconds to go in the third quarter, it's 4th and goal from the 3. 15th play of the drive upcoming. On 4th and goal for the Rough Riders. Mabry. Osborne behind Wallace. They'll reverse. And Perry tries to be shoved in. We got a stalemate at the goal line, and the Redskins keep him out. They tried the reverse to Kevin Perry, and he didn't get to the goal line. Truesdale, Nouse, and a whole host of Redskins.
Great pursuit.
Keep him out of the end zone. So a 15-play drive that takes 7 minutes and 39 seconds off the clock results in no points for the Rough Riders, and will go to the 4th here on WOSN. Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphos, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home style, happens here. The scoreboard still reads 14-0 as Wapak keeps St. Mary's out of the end zone after the 15-play drive by St. Mary's. And we talked about the Rough Riders needing to sustain drives, but a couple of times now, 12-play drives and 15-play drives, haven't been able to cap them off. In the fourth quarter, begins with the Rough Riders getting the football at their own 2-yard line. The last time they were backed up this far, got a touchdown out of the deal. Schnarry, Naus lined up behind Moyer. Schnarry to carry, off right tackle, powers his way out to the 10-yard line. See it on a Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay. Just a great hole off that left side. Get it out to the 10-yard line. So second and short here for the Redskins, who, like St. Mary's, probably looking to just run some clock here, get the ball into a better field position spot.
You know, if they grind out a drive here, for however long they can maintain it, you're talking about a big seal in the deal.
Schnarry another carry. Frost Roofing first down. You'll see it on the Binkley Real Estate Instant Replay here. Got out to about the 15-yard line before he was met by Jacob Kessler.
And I think that's probably what you're going to see. You're going to see them just try to grind out, and take, a lot of time left in this quarter. But we've seen, teams just really eat that clock up.
See when Wapak starts to snap the football. Just how much time they're taking off. Under 10 seconds on the play clock. 5 seconds, the snap. Naus could have bounced it out. Instead worked towards the middle of the field. Maybe already in the 4-minute offense here for the Redskins. As you see, he thought about bouncing it.
Yes,
said, nope,
he did.
I'm going to put my foot in the ground and get up in the middle of the field. Which tells you he's probably been told, hey, let's just grind out some plays here. Grind out and really get your defense as much rest as possible.
Yeah.
There are some guys playing both ways, but you just went on a 15-play, 7-minute and 40-second drive. You want to take some time as much as you can here. Now lined up to the left of Moyer. He'll take the handoff. But he stood up. Caleb Turner pushes him straight up in the air.
And I think that's what you're going to see the Rough Riders do, forcing them to put the ball in the air.
Logan Compton in the ball game as well on the tackle. So 3rd and 8 here for Wapak. See what the call is here.
That's the thing, too. You can't get too conservative. You get too conservative, and all of a sudden, things go haywire. I've seen that so often in so many sports where people get too protective and too cautious. Trips out here.
Jolly, the inside receiver. The leading receiver for Wapak. It's a screen, but it's gobbled up by the St. Mary's defense. Looking to get it to Naus. Moyer immediately pressured. See, he'll take a shot. St. Mary's ready for this screen, and that'll bring up 4th and long.
Huge for the Rough Riders. Stop the clock.
Forces the Minster Bank punt. It's Kyle Beach, who's got a boot on him. See how much he can flip the field. St. Mary's almost got the block on the last one. Had to use the Metro Financial Services timeout to set it up. We'll see if they bring the house again. Looks like a lot of guys lined up on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and he's got a good foot because you saw the two receivers. Ooh,
tough snap, but Beach able to hang with it. It'll take a Wapak bounce and roll to the 41-yard line, now to the 40. So a nice boot by Kyle Beach puts the ball at the 40-yard line, and they'll stand there and watch it for just a second to make some extra time run off the clock.
Beach deserves a lot of credit. He dropped that ball.
Yeah,
still got the punt off and got a good one off.
So St. Mary's gets the ball at their 40-yard line. So a little better field position for the Rough Riders. Actually, best starting field position of the night. And looks like the freshman will be at quarterback for St. Mary's. Trey Moore. He'll look to throw. Rolling. Has to try to split the defense. Can't. Caden Ware and Nate Metzger combined for the tackle.
Must have a hold in the backfield there.
It's the first call here of the fourth quarter. Brought to you by B&B Auto Repair. Rely on Van and his team of expert technicians to provide excellent service. Call 419-738-8090 for your auto repair needs. So the penalty, not what the Riders want to see, but the penalty flag declined. Makes it 2nd and 15 instead of 1st and 20. Cody Wallace will come back in at quarterback, and just giving St. Mary's defense a little different look there with the freshman quarterback. Trey Moore as Wallace drops back to pass. Looks, hitch and pitch on, no. Caught by Kessler, brought down by Mullen at the 45-yard line.
I wonder if that's setting up.
But you just see Osborne, but he was well covered out of the backfield. Just saw him out of the corner of my eye streaking, and St. Mary's not afraid to use the hitch and pitch.
Well, you need a score. You need a score to
quickly.
Yeah, time is becoming a huge factor, so setting that up, big thing.
Wallace will hand off to Mabry. He'll just run straight ahead, put his head down before he's shoved backwards by the Wapak D.
That penalty looms large because it's now 4th, I think. Am I right?
4th and 2.
Yes.
From the 48-yard line. Got to get right to the midfield stripe. So the 4th play of the drive upcoming. 4th and 2. Looking to get that Frost Roofing first down. Mabry. And Osborne. Pass thrown. Caught by Steinberg. Slips out of a tackle. Brought down in Wapak territory, but it's a Frost Roofing first down.
Wow, good execution and a big first down. That looked like a run all the way.
Yes, sir. Everybody in the stadium thought that Colton Mabry going to get the football. Instead, they'll sling it to the outside to Carter Steinberg. And it moves the chains. 7:30 to go in the ball game. Rough Riders playing with a sense of urgency. Mabry to pitch. Meanders through the Redskin defense before he's brought down just shy of the 35-yard line.
Well, if they get a score here, we've seen one onside kick already, and it was a good one.
And nearly got it. You're right. Approaching 7 minutes remaining on the least famous recipe chicken scoreboard. Wallace goes back up under center. Steinberg, the receiver, to the bottom of the screen. Play action pass.
Yep, you could see the hold.
Got back to the line of scrimmage. Wallace takes a pop. Schnarry gives him the lick. But you could see Jaden Brandy basically got tackled. And I can't help, to laugh. It's just, it's everybody in the stadium. You thought Colton Mabry was going to get the handoff a few plays ago. Everybody in the stadium saw Jaden Rampula break through the line and somebody hanging on to his right ankle. 6:45 to go. That'll push things back once more. Instead of 2nd and 4, it'll be 2nd and 14.
Quickness is so tough to go against when you're an offensive lineman. You've got that quick player on the opposite side of you. That's so difficult.
Wallace on the double move. Has Steinberg deep. Just overshot him. Jared Mullen, Nate Metzger on the coverage.
A little pump fake there and went deep on the fly route then.
3rd and 14. See what the Riders dial up here. Needing a touchdown at some point here. Trailing 14-0. Kessler, Mabry behind Wallace in the wing T. Play action pass. Truesdale, the pressure. And Wallace hits the turf. Joey Truesdale's first sack of the season.
Well, you notice when they've completed those passes, it's only been on about a 2-step drop. Going a little bit deeper and trying to go deep in the pocket just not been able to hold off that defensive line of the Redskins.
So Carter Steinberg will come back in the game for St. Mary's on 4th and 21.
Time becoming a huge factor at this point.
Absolutely. So Trey Moore, who lined up at quarterback at the top of your screen, will go out for a pass. Wallace will just turn and uncork it to him, give him a chance to catch it, and it's picked off, but he's out of bounds, or at least he would want to be out of bounds.
Yes, he
I
would
think.
be.
Yep, they'll call the ball at the 19-yard line.
It's so difficult to tell somebody, hey, don't catch it, But
Jolly, the interception, he did get the foot down.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
But maybe to his detriment.
Yeah.
As instead of getting the ball at the 41-yard line or so, they'll get it at their own 19. Nonetheless, there's 5:35 to go.
Yeah, but at the same time is more of a factor, so just getting your hands on the ball is the most important thing.
5:35 to go. Saw Wapak trying to grind it out the last time they got the football. We'll see what the calls are here. Is Hauser the man in motion? Nouse dives straight ahead. Gain of 2.
Now we'll see that clock go down to 0 before the snap.
93 Turner.
St. Mary's with just one Metzger Financial Services timeout to stop the clock. Wapak with all 3. As you see the numbers tick off the Lee's famous recipe chicken scoreboard. 15 seconds on the play clock as Wapak breaks the huddle. 2nd and 8. Hauser in motion from left to right. Moyer, the snap. A little bit of room to run. Tries to stiff arm. Swallowed up by the St. Mary's D. Another tough snap to handle there for Moyer. Tried to break out of the tackle before Noah Dixon turned him back towards the St. Mary's defense, and Owen Ott and Caleb Turner combined for the stop. 3rd and 6.
Big third
I was
down
just about
to get
to
the
say
ball.
another
Get
big
the ball
third down
back.
for this St. Mary's defense. Ryan Walter comes on the field as an extra wide receiver for Wapak here on 3rd and 6. Now to the left of Moyer in the gun. Takes the counter. Chase from behind. Needed to get to the 29-yard line.
I think they're a yard short.
And you're right. Travis Moyer pointing to the 29. I think he's going to be spotted at the 28. That's the correct spot as Owen Ott gets the tackle, the freshman for St. Mary's. Brings up 4th and short.
Well, no matter what, he's going to take the remaining 20-some seconds
Right.
off the clock. So whether they decide to go for it here or punt, either way, they're going to take the time.
So 4th and 1. Truesdale and Schnarry come back on the field with 15 seconds. See if they actually run a play or they try to bark St. Mary's
I think they're going to try to
offsides.
bark him off.
Hauser and Truesdale come set to the other side. And
And
they
it
did.
worked.
On 4th and 1, they get St. Mary's to jump. And that'll pick up the Frost Roofing first down, one of the more important ones of the evening.
I know what Coach Fry is talking about to the official. I know what he's doing. Yep, he's talking about him.
The
way,
quarterback
that's
moving
the
his
first
head.
time. That's the first time I saw Moyer do that.
And he's got a case, I think.
Yep.
Nonetheless, chains move. Redskins keep the football and keep the clock moving.
I know I would have jumped. Seriously, I mean, he really gave the head motion there that he hasn't done any other time. That's a backbreaker. You may not get the ball back now.
Ryan Sadler in the game as an extra tight end for the Redskins. And now they'll snap the football. Schnarry off left tackle for he's stood up, fights through a tackle, gets very close to the midfield stripe, but it's another Frost Roofing first down. You see he's met at the 38-yard line and gets it out to the 44, so 43. Just extra effort there by Schnarry as Wapak continuing to churn this clock. 2:15 to go. 2:15 away from naming our Stolly Hustle Award winner for tonight's ball game. 1st and 10. Schnarri, another handoff off left tackle. Just power straight out to the 49-yard line as those legs moving quickly before St. Mary's defense knows where the football is. Under 2 minutes to go.
They have to take him out, I think. Stop the clock. So
looks like he's got a favoring that left elbow. Caden Page goes back on the field. The wide receiver role. So 2nd and 6 upcoming.
Boys, we need to move.
5 seconds on the play clock. Not sure Moyer realizes it. Maybe he does. He got set. Maybe. He got over the midfield stripe.
you could tell earlier. He knew the time. He's got a clock on the other end down there. He sees on the scoreboard. Very, very good view of it. It's up on the board.
Just got up under there just at the right moment. Ball to 49. As that might do it.
I mean, all quarterbacks know it, but, you know, when you're a coach's kid, you are so cerebral knowing that from probably 2 years old.
Redskins will break the huddle at 10. And now Moyer will rush up under center. One more handoff. This one to Truesdale. Tries to break the tackle at Carter Steinberg. It's a Frost Roofing first down. Nice open field tackle by Carter Steinberg, but just along for the ride with Joey Truesdale getting the carry. And now Redskins have to snap it just one more time. So Wapak going to move to 2-2 on the season. First more than one score victory over St. Mary since 2017 as they'll be in victory formation. Just have to snap it one more time with 5 seconds on the play clock. They do. And that'll do it. So Wapak moves to 2-2. St. Mary's drops to 0-4. The Redskins get 2 first-half touchdowns. Neither side punches one in the second half. And the Redskins win by that 14-0 score. So we'll step aside, come back, and name our Stolly Hustle Award winner when we return. Wapak victorious tonight, 14-0 over St. Mary's here on WOSN. Back here at Wapakoneta, wrapping up a 14-0 victory for the Redskins over the St. Mary's Rough Riders. And Wapak got the scoring started in the first half, both of their touchdowns coming in that first half. And St. Mary's put together some long, sustained drives. Jerry just couldn't ever punch it in the end zone.
No, they couldn't. And, you know, I'm not going to say they did everything but win. I mean, obviously, you know, the score shows what it is. But at the same time, those 2 long drives are just on the verge of making that game, you know, a one-score game, another chance to do it.
Yeah.
Just came up short.
And then both teams meeting at midfield for a post-game prayer. As the game a little bit, the action tonight take a back seat to the communities of both St. Mary's and Wapak, and glad to see the great sportsmanship and the great community pride for both sides tonight, wearing the pink in honor of the young 5th grade student from St. Mary's who tragically lost her life this week.
You know, Gary, I'm telling you, too, that, I mean, I'm not down there in that huddle at the end or with all those players, but I am here to tell you that that's why they were together. You talk about what high school sports does, right there it was.
So it's time to name our Stolly Hustle Award winner tonight, and with the 14-0 score, it's probably not all that surprising that our Stolly Hustle Award winner for tonight comes from the defensive side. And Jerry, when you take a look at the Wapak defense, Jaden Rampula really stood out tonight in the first half, grabbed a couple of sacks, and he's our winner tonight.
And he should be. He just was such a key factor when it came to critical downs, you know, and really had a lot to do with stopping those drives.
So Jaden Rampula, a pair of sacks, had 2 sacks coming into tonight, had 2 sacks in the first half. A big performance from the Wapakoneta Redskin defensive end. And he's our Stolly Hustle Award winner. For more Stolly Hustle Award winners, check out the WOSN YouTube page. That'll do it from us here tonight at Wapak for our spectacular WOSN crew and Jerry Snodgrass. I'm Garrett Seawright, thanking Wapakoneta for the hospitality and setting us up here tonight. And the final score, the final time, the Redskins win 14-0 over the St. Mary's Rough Riders. That'll do it for tonight, and we'll catch you next time here on WOSN.